everyone. My name is Tammy Shields, and welcome to the resource for the book Bees Bees. Again, this book is by Katherine Pryor, illustrated by Ellie Peterson. And the book is about a little girl named Beatrice. That's the character. I just reviewed her in my book review. She actually stumbled upon a beehive one day and ended up learning more about bees than she anticipated learning about bees. One of those things being how important bees are to our ecosystem, and that bees needed space and they need certain flowers in order for them to survive. And they're pollinators, so they're very, very important to our ecosystem again and our environment. So the activity that I have for you is super simple. It's just to plant lavender seeds. So lavender seeds are one of those seeds that bumblebees actually like. You can grow them all year round. It can be grown inside as well as outside. You want to have them in a well-lit area, or if you don't have a well-lit area in your classroom or in your home, you can use like a grow light. Those are LED lights, and most of them, they're safe to use, but I will still make sure to read the manufacturer's information about them to ensure that they are safe and that they're okay to have around children, depending on the one that you get. At home, you're going to make your own decision, but in your facility, make sure that you check with your managers to make sure it's something that you can use, because they are on timers, so you can possibly even do them during the day while you're there, and then make sure that they're turned off in the evening. So make sure it's safe to do so. Now, to go along with the lavender seeds, I created the life cycle of a lavender plant. This is something I created using a simple foam board, double-sided tape, as well as construction paper. It's important to use this as a teaching tool when you first gather the children and talk to them about what it is that they're going to be doing. And then you can place this in your science area and they can look at it and explore with it as they're watching their plant grow. So here is the life cycle. And as you can see, it's a life cycle of a lavender plant. And I have all of the stages from stage 1 all the way to stage 5, which is the seed, the germination stage, the root and stem stage, and the seedling stage, all the way to the pollination stage. And I even included a little bumblebee, pollinating my artificial leaves here, but I wanted to utilize both sides. So the other side has the leading question: what do plants need to grow? This is important to ask children to see what they know, and then to talk to them about what it is that they need to grow, which is the sun, the wind, the water, as well as the dirt. And I also included a photograph of a bumblebee, a real bumblebee, pollinating a lavender plant, so the children can see what it will look like once they go outside. Now, of course, you're not going to have bumblebees in your classroom or in your homes, but it takes a while for the seeds to grow. So I would tell the children that we're going to start this plant, and then once it gets warmer, we'll take it outside for the bumblebees to have food, created by us, so that they can feed their families and they can, do their magic after that. So this is what you can do as far as how you discuss it with them. Now, typically there's 2 teachers inside of the classroom. Sometimes there's a 3rd teacher. If there's not, let your environment be your extra teacher, because if you set up your environment the way it should be set up, that's exactly what it can be. So while you're sitting now speaking to the children about what you're going to be planting and doing and all of these other different things, that other teacher can have the classroom set up, and you can use this as a small group activity. So the things that I have to go along with that is, of course, recyclable materials, because we're not just talking about the ecosystem. I feel like this can go into an extended activity which speaks about the importance of recycling. So I have an egg carton here that I've cut in half. The bottom half the top half can be used as a bottom half now, and you can put paper towels there, and the children can plant their seeds in here. So it's 12 here. I always tell teachers, no matter how many children you have, make sure to do more, because someone's not going to grow. And if it doesn't grow, they're going to be sad. So you want to make sure everyone has a plant. And this can be transplanted into a pot by just simply cutting that section, and you can have the children's names put here, so you can utilize this area here to put their initials or their names, and this is where they can actually do this together as a small group. Rotate it out when you're finished with the first group. I would do no more than maybe 4 children at a time and have them rotate. I did also purchase a container from the dollar store, $1.25 store that is, that has all of the things that they need for this small group activity. So instead of pulling out a giant bag of, soil or a big container, you can just simply place some soil inside of, like, maybe a couple of these here. Like I have 2 that I would use, and then have children spoon out the dirt and count the spoons as they're doing it. Because remember, this book not only teaches language and literacy, it also teaches math and science concepts. So this is where the math comes in at. Have them spoon the dirt inside of their carton section right here. Have them poke a hole in the center of it, and then you can drop the seeds down inside of it. So I was trying to think of a great water source for the children to have instead of a watering can, because I feel like it would literally drown the seeds if it was a watering can. It can be too much water. So I found this little sippy cup from the dollar store also, and it has like the little spout here. It's a tiny little spout from the straw, and it's a great flow of water, and it's good for small hands. Now, of course, someone's gonna try to drink this. They are. It's probably cool, nice, water. They're going to be thirsty, they say, and they're going to try to put their mouth on it. That's inevitable. But, of course, we're going to do like we always do, and we talk to them about not drinking from this, because it's a special water just for the plants, and it has special plant food in it. But it's actually just plain water. So we'll talk to them about it beforehand. And then I also grabbed a spray bottle. The spray bottle will be good for once the plant actually does come up and you want to have the children spray the leaves and the flowers and things like that. Again, it needs to be in a well-lit area in order for it to grow, or you can utilize a grow light if you're able to utilize a grow light. I would definitely do that. So you're going to use the chart that I created of the life cycle of the plant, to use as that teaching tool. But you can make other charts as well, such as you can head a chart that says, how many days does it take for the plant to grow? And then they can use little color blocks, and you can use them as numbers to see how many days it takes for them to go from seed, the seed process all the way to the pollination process at the end. So that would be a great chart. And also photograph the children. Make sure that the other teacher in your classroom is photographing the whole process, from the children dropping the seeds into the egg carton to actually, when it starts to grow, all the way to the flower actually starting to bloom. So that's important to have too. If you don't have wall space for it, that's fine. You can just simply make a book and laminate the pictures and make a book and have that right inside of the science area. And when you have that leading question with the children that says, what do plants need to grow? I would actually put their names there on that paper. It could be a large chart paper, or it can be a poster board, and then get their take on it before you actually show them what it is that plants need to grow, so you can see what they know and then determine what they know afterwards. So those are my activities for the extension on this book, Bees Bees by Katherine Pryor and Ellie Peterson. If you guys have any other tips or ideas or things that you've used in your classroom, I would love to hear from you. Please make sure that you hit like and subscribe so I can continue to bring you these resources and these great reviews on books. And as always, keep reading and keep exploring. I'll see you next time. Thank you.